some super cool stuff. And we're doing watercolor with gouache still. And let me just get rid of this little thing here. There we go. So we've been in this Kilimanjaro book, and with the watercolor paper, doing gouache in this series and watercolor. So let me know where you're coming from and who's here. Hey, there's Chuck Davis. How's it going? So I'm gonna use some of the new gouache that's out, and probably would be just a little helpful if I just put this little tray here. Don't let me forget, but I got a package literally just 15-20 minutes ago from Escoda, all the way from Spain. So today we're going to look at some of the new gouache, and right off the bat we've got the Avaro Casanet Gray. So this is already in watercolor, okay? Of course, we'll be using the titanium white. There will be a couple of colors, Kingsman Royal Blue, and possibly this cobalt teal. Dun, dun, dun. We got a couple other dark colors. The neutral tint. Again, this is a watercolor. Also now gouache. Pretty awesome, right? Avaro Fresco Gray and Jane's Black. Oh, sorry, no, Ivory Black. There is a Jane's Black, though. I spoke too soon. Jane's Gray. All right. And then we got the Jane's Black. Now there's a red, green, black, okay? Same in watercolor. All these are also in watercolor. And the Jane's Black, blue, orange. So I'll be using some of these today. Hopefully I remember to tell you when I'm using which one. Please feel free to ask me. Of course, I've already got some colors prepped. Now, these were the first of the colors that came out year before last. And they're holding up really good. They're staying nice and juicy in this container. I have not seen any mold yet, which is a good thing, right? And and this is a new color for this year, which is this lovely guy. All right, and we've got Moon Glow here, and all the rest are current colors that you can grab. So without any further ado, today we're doing the watercolor with the gouache. And what do we got here? From Cindy, she says, seeing your palette there, so it looks like you can squeeze them out like watercolors, and they re-wet. Is that correct? Yes. So last week, if you weren't with us, don't worry about it. Now this palette you can get with Daniel Smith for watercolors. I put gouache in there. Let me back this up, okay? So you can get a 24 set of watercolors by Daniel Smith, and it comes with one of these extra palettes. Well, what I did was, instead of filling up with more watercolors, I filled it up with gouache. So these were the first colors that came out in the gouache year before last, and this little thing pops out. I think I tried this last week. Yeah, there it is. So it pops out. See that? And so just like watercolor, I could spritz these and reuse them. Okay? So, like for instance, today, we're gonna use Avaro's. Bum, 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 it was right here, the Fresco Gray. So what I'm gonna do is just put a little dab of that right there. Okay. And yeah, I'll be mixing right out of this palette. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a wash with watercolors. Hey Nick. Oh. Hi Gabriel. I was just about to head to a lecture, but I thought I'd watch some of the goodness first to get me in a creative mood. Right on. So today I am doing this. Have you seen this car yet? The new Elon Musk truck? So this is over here where I go to the gym. And there's these trucks now showing up. So with our theme of just different images, right? We're going to be painting this. So the cool thing is we're going to be looking today at values. Okay. So for instance, let me go over here. For instance, let me go over to my favorites. So we can look at this in a grayscale to break it down. Okay. And we can break it down even more simple and even simpler. Okay. So this helps me draw it out really nicely. Okay. And I can go back to this one for the lovely details. Okay. So why did I pick this image today? You may ask, is because we need to look at edge work and we need to look at values. That's what creates a really attractive painting. And it works really well with gouache to paint like this, okay? All right, and Sally, hello again. Happy Watercolor Wednesday, my favorite day. So glad you're back with us. So, now the fun thing is you can paint this gray, and then with gouache, you can go back over and you can put some blues. Now, if I have some time, I might put this dude that's photographing the truck at the same time as I was. And so, it's an interesting vehicle. It's a hot topic right now. Even the family was talking about it. Hey, Debbie, I remember that. I remembered. Oh, you remembered. Ta-da. Right on. Glad to have you here, Debbie. So, even though you might not be into the subject, you should definitely be in today's thought process that's looking at edges, all right, and values. And that's what we're going to hit on today by using some of the watercolor and the gouache. Now, I am going to go ahead and do the sky in watercolor, all right? So I'm going to use, and for you all that just jumped on, I am super stoked. I just got a package from Escoda, and one of our sponsors, you can see right here. And I am stoked to see it, to show you what they sent to me in the mail. And yeah, all right. So the brush I'm using right now is a mop. This is by Escoda, and this is the Joseph Zavukovich series. The reason why I'm using this, it's a number 10. It works really nice for this size. Typically, my other mop, oh shoot, I've worn off the numbers, but I don't know if it's a 16 or an 18, but see the difference in size, okay? All right, we're gonna hop right into this with some lovely lavender. And what's cool about this sky is there's some clouds. So we're gonna put in some sky. We're painting sky to have clouds. I hope that makes sense. All right. And right then, we have this wonderful edge of our roof with our building. And I'm just going to first put down a mass tone. What I'm saying is, I want just something that separates this building from that sky. Okay. The next thing I'm doing, and that's just this ugly gray that's just currently on my palette. Okay. And I'll show you. See that? That ugly stuff? I can put this down without my painting looking like a muck. All right. Meaning, since we're going to put down gouache, it's going to still look nice and attractive and not dead. Okay. But what we want by using the watercolor with the gouache is we want that luminosity. Okay. And there we got this building right here in the background. All right. And I'm liking that. Just go ahead and I'll finish this little piece. There's these lovely air conditioning units on the top of that building. All right. And then let's take some of that and a little more neutral tint. I'm going to cool it, that gray. And then we're going to do this little lovely thing like that. Okay, so what I want is these nice little luminous background accents. Okay, and then we've got this nice little dark one here. Okay, now I've got this buff titanium. You could either use the gouache buff titanium for this part or the watercolor. All I want is to knock down the white. So on this building, I'm getting rid of the white on that building because I need the whitest white on my car. Okay? And I can actually come and zoom in a little bit more. Again, this might not be your subject of choice, and that's not always the case when we're painting things. All right. You want to paint different subjects because you want to take what you've learned, all right, from other paintings and see how you can apply it to a whole nother subject. All right. I need a nice little base coat. So I'm going to put some neutral tint into that buff titanium down here. And I'm going to get in here underneath the car and I'm going to get rid of some of these whites. But the funny thing is this person in this car, they are parked and they got this new car. I thought this was ironic. They've got this new car, but they're parked in the handicap. And isn't that always interesting? And so we've got this. We're going to save these little whites because they work as nice directional lines. Okay, we've got this one here. And if you mess these up, it's no big deal because the cool thing is the gouache, you're able to cut all that back in. There's a nice little shadow underneath the truck. And yeah, some people, they might not like this truck. It's fine. But the thing is, it's not always about the thing. It's always about the painting part. And that's why I chose this subject. Where you gotta be able to take your same concepts and paint different wonderful subjects. Okay? So I've connected this whole shadow into this little section over here. Now, and yeah, feel free to ask questions. We've got some other buff titanium stuff that needs to go over here, and some ground coverage there. Okay? And I'm going to take a little bit of this lovely blue, and what I want is some of this wonderful goodness right here. Okay, I'm just gonna make that wonderful sky drop down right onto that part of our windshield. Okay, because it's reflecting it, and probably kill that light. Jeez. Let me take care of that light. Well, we haven't had much rain, so the sun's out. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So, I typically would wait for this to dry. I typically would go grab me an iced tea. But for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and all right. So let's look at some of the goodies that we got in the mail from Escoda. And I'm super stoked because they gave me, no, they did not ship me my glass cases. That are these glasses by Peepers. So, Escoda, I've been working with them for a good while. If you've been around me long enough, I can't say enough about them. And hey, we got Rochelle here. Hello from Lancaster. Chuck Davis. When you look at a landscape or a reference pic, do you see or evaluate it differently if you're painting predominantly in gouache than you would if you be painting predominantly in watercolor? No, actually, Chuck, I paint shapes and I paint light. All right. See, we've got a lot of nice shapes here. We've got a nice zigzag. There's my composition. We've got a nice right in here. This is the star of the show. He gets to go right there, but he's not dab center. He's on a 3/4 turn. We've got some nice radial lines pointing here. We've got some nice patterns in this. We've got variety with a tapering shapes, and we'll have two other cars in relationship. And if we have time, we'll put a person in there. Hey, and we have Doc. We have had nothing but rain and grim and gray. Hey, Doc, I answered your email. I hope you got it. And, all right, check this out. These are some new flyers from Escoda. Well, this one just got updated, or actually, no, this is the original one. I've showed it here. But these are super rad. So this goes over a whole bunch of their brushes. So we have, you know, Escoda is the maker, and like Perla is like, what would be the equivalent to like if you had a Toyota Camry or a Toyota 4Runner, right? So here is the Perla series, and we have all these great shapes that come. So these are the two that you typically see me working with. I do have these others, and I really like these perlas for putting more pigment down on the page. There's the back of the brochure. All right. So it even shows you right here, like how much, how stiff it is in the absorption. All right. So this is totally an ideal watercolor brush. And here we go. We've got two sets of perlas right here. This is a 12 and a 16. So thank you for Escoda for sending those perlas. These I plan on having my students try out. So I'm very grateful. Actually, here's Joseph's card. And he writes, "True friends are great riches." That's super rad. Thanks, bro. All right, next we have the Aquario. That's what I'm using right now, or I was. This is the Aquario. All right, and those are the ones that are available in Aquarios. All right, dun, dun, dun. And talks about the stiffness and absorption. So this is a great brush for your first washes. And we got Tim here. Hello. Hello, Tim. And Doc, I'm glad you got my email. And you're welcome. And Rochelle says, hoping I can vacation and come paint with you in April. Plein air workshop in Waynesboro, PA. Yes, I would love to have you. I will be out there in Waynesboro coming up in April, just around the corner. So there's these vintage brushes. These are pretty cool. I do not have these brushes, but I am curious about them. It says they're for oil and acrylic. I'm curious for them for gouache, personally. So we got some different shapes. All right. And there we go. It's stiffness. And now we got the Chronos. The Chronos is a really cool. I've shared the Chronos on here before. And I really like it. It has a good stiffness, but it holds less water than my typical mop brush. Okay. All right. That's the Chronos Ultimo, which is one of my favorites. And we got some Ultimos right here. So these are 14s. I really like these. If you are not comfortable with having a brush that's a real hairbrush, this is a synthetic brush, okay? So there were no animals harmed in the making of this brush, all right? And, all right, we have, so the Ultimo, look at all those great sizes. I have a couple of this, like this cat's tongue, super cool. Have this dagger, which I love. Look at this rigger brush, super nice. Evolution. I've shared that one on here. Here's the Evolution. This one is just amazing, amazing brush. Now I saw this silver. I was like, wait, is this another handle? I'm kind of curious if there's another one coming out. So my Evolution is right here, and right now it comes in one size. So this is very much very similar to the Aquario I showed you. Okay, but it's got this flat edge. You can now get this. I just found out. You can now get this at Cheap Joe's. So it only comes in one size, a 20. This brush is for like a half sheet and larger. Okay. But John Coach, the guy that designed this brush, I actually saw him work on a quarter sheet. Once you get this lovely thing wet, it comes to a lovely, lovely point. Look at that. Now it's wet. Isn't that cool? So, yeah, that is just, this is the newest and greatest thing. It holds 50% more water, and it cleans out a lot quicker. And again, look at that tip. It is a good looking brush, okay? So the Ultimo Evolution, and there it is right there. Look at how much water and the stiffness. Nice soft brush. Moving on, we got Versatile. Now, the Versatile is my good friend Lauren McCracken. He loves this brush, and it's his signature brush. This is like a Kolinsky Sable, okay? Very much an amazing, amazing brush. It says here for watercolor, or you could use it for oil and acrylic. So some of you that are working in both mediums, you might want to try these out. I like this Skoda Versatile. Right on, Tim. Right on. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I have the whole my good friend Lauren McCracken, he gave me his whole set, and the guy put me in happy tears. Too nice. Now we got the Classico. The Classico is like an acrylic. Definitely, this is something very much you probably use like in college for oil painting and whatnot. And we got Artie Ross, and hey, good to see you. We're going over some brushes, and we'll come back to this painting. All right, and we got the Prado. Oh, I've shared the Prado. Some of you saw this if you've been around with me a while. So this is a box set that Escoda has, and it has the Prado in a nice flat. It comes with the Kronos, and it comes with the Ultimo. And check this out. This comes out. Isn't that cool? And that's what the back looks like. It's a nice little string that holds these. Keeps them from getting all jacked up if you have to throw this in your backpack. It keeps the tips all nice. And yeah. So you can get these too, which I love. Another cool case too that you can get is the Cheap Joe's case like this. All right, so the Prado, really, really nice brush. It also comes in that travel brushes. And oh, speaking of travel brushes, check it out. So gotta love me some travel brushes. So there's your Versatile, the Kolinsky Synthetics, the Ultimos. We've got the Prados, the Perlas. If you just want a whole travel set of Perlas, they're pretty nice. And everybody's been getting them off of Amazon right now because you can't actually buy directly from Escoda. Blick has them, but only on their website, not in their stores. And so, all right. So thank you so much Escoda specifically, Joseph, and I'm pretty sure he made these by hand and sent them. So I'm very grateful I could share these with my students. So if you come to any of my workshops, these will be available for you to test out. And so, yeah, I won't be selling them, but you can come try them out. All right, without any further ado, let's get back on to this truck action here. And so, we're gonna go now into the building first. All right. So I'm gonna just go right straight from the hip, and I'm gonna grab a color that's really close, and I'm gonna try this one out. And what I want is I want a color that's gonna separate our roof from our sky. And the sky is supposed to be nice and cool, right? So what kind of color of pigment should I go for? Does anybody know the answer? Some of you that just took my Cheap Joe's workshop should know the answer. Let's see, I'll watch the comments. I kind of just showed you. Then I'm gonna put some of this lavender right into here because this is chrome, and I'm gonna put this little lovely thing here. So the temperature of the color matters, friends. With this hard edge, okay. So this is a nice warm color, and I'll bring it in. Oops. I'll bring it a little bit tighter and closer. Hopefully that helps. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So we've got a nice little edge here, and it doesn't hurt to have a little napkin ready to go in your hand. This little guy came down. He's a little wet. That's all right. So I'm looking at if I'm going to make that the trim, I might as well just go ahead and bring it right here for the trim on the window here. Now, I don't want a ton of information. I just want to keep this nice and simple. Okay. These little series that we're doing, these are nice study pieces. Okay. So they may make them out. They might come out of my sketchbook as a next step for another painting. Okay. But I definitely will not be framing this and putting it in. So we put that base coat down, right? But before I jump ahead, let's put these other two rims in here. Obviously, as things go further away, they get thinner and lighter. And this one's going to be a little bit darker. Like so. Okay. All right, moving ahead. Bum, bum, bum. We're going to put in these nice little darks. And I've already got some wonderful little moon glow right here for now. I will grab the other colors for the car. Okay. So these first colors are just nice and basic. This next one is needing to be more of a gray. So I'm gonna put the lavender down first, and then a little bit of brown, and mix it right in on the page, and a little bit of moon glow right in here. And I want this kind of little more gray. We'll knock down that and put some more moon glow. There's a little bit of reflection of what's across the road. Now, I'm not going to stop and put the little whites until the end, okay? There's nice little whites and whatnot that is in here, but that is not the time in which I want to do that. So let's go to this next lovely part of our painting. This little section gets dark right in here, okay? And then it gets even a little bit of nice dark right in here, like that. I'm going to get a little bit of water, and right in here underneath that car, I thought would be cool is I want to make this look a little futuristic with some fun edge work. So I'm going to make it somewhat more like a graphic image. I'm saying it's going to have like a cool design look to it, all right? Partial design and partial painterly, okay? So this is all blocked in really nice and clean. You're gonna, when you do stuff like this, you're just looking at the shapes, okay? So there's a nice edge here, like this. And then I'm just taking water for this next part. Some water right in here. There's a little bit of light I keep. This comes right in like this. Kind of come in here. Like that. Now, it's a really interesting truck. It's right now, it's just kind of popular. But, again, we're not painting popular things. We're just painting things that we're practicing all of these wonderful ways to hold our brush, ways to put down water, to put down pigment. Okay. All right. So we've got some nice contrast working for us, right? Let's go ahead and go back to the back of the building right here. This is going to be nice and dark right here. There's a little white thing, and if I don't get it perfect, it's okay. That's the nice thing about the gouache. So the watercolor part, the reason why we wanted the watercolor part first was to have that glow. I'm going to put some buff titanium right here and drop in a little bit of that lavender. A little more of that over here. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Bum, bum, bum. And moving along, we can get over into here. And what we need over here is some texture on this wall. There's some texture right in here. There's these buildings here in San Diego. They all have there's a lot of stucco. Some of you might live where you got, arts and crafts houses, and you got brick houses and different types of structural. And this is me using the wonderful texture of the paper. And that's why I'm choosing to use a watercolor paper to make it. Now, other people might use a different type of paper, which is like hot pressed or smooth. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. You guys must be painting because you are all quiet today. That's great. Now, I'm not worried about if this shape is perfect right now. When I go to paint it, I will be able to get all the angles and everything I need. Okay. So, moving along. Now, this kind of painting is considered a concept art, and it's also considered um, a study. Okay. And I know we're here on the YouTubes and stuff like that, but this is a great place to learn. It's a great place to try things out. I think this is a good platform. You know, did I get the rights to paint this for you? No. But this is considered a concept type of work where uh, we're working and gathering information and ideas, and hopefully I'm not sponsoring. Hopefully, excuse me. Hopefully, I'm inspiring you to consider this way of painting for future projects. So don't get too caught up that this is the Elon Musk car and all that truck and all that stuff. Okay. All right. Now we've got that building in the background. And you've just got to make the verticals, the horizontals, the horizontals. Now, this needs to be vertical. That's vertical. This is vertical. But this horizontal, it's coming closer to us. So it's on an angle. See that? See that shape, how it goes up? Okay. Bum, bum, bum. All right. We've got some wonderful darks to put in right here. There's one other little loop-de-loop down there, or archway, I should call it, really. All right, now there is a car, and I'm just going to paint that shape. So this car shape comes in right here and up, and there's a window, and then it comes down because there's another car right here. Now there's another car right here, and this is where you can paint these things by looking at the shapes. See that shape? This shape's going to come here. It's going to come down and over. Okay. I'm going to now just add water. Bringing this part like this. And even if I do decide to put a person here, the gouache can go easily over the top of this. And all right, we got Debbie. She says, as a matter of fact, I am painting. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. You should paint the Cyber Rusty. That sounds great. Like apocalyptic? Is that what you're thinking? Yeah. I've had so many people ask me if I'm gonna like do some like apocalyptic art. I guess it's coming back, you know? That whole kind of like Mad Max and the Thunderdome kind of thing. Or like the whole like futuristic kind of yeah, like where civilization is falling apart. All right, we got some road down here, and this is. I'll come back and knock that down. There we go, like that. Look how tall that guy is compared to all the rest. All right, moving in towards the car now. We've got our building. We've got this other building. So we've got a background, a foreground. Now there are some, like on a roof, there's some of these little tall things like this. And what's neat about putting these little things here, they kind of get you to look down. Okay. They're just directional codes. Okay. It's guiding the eye to look down. Now I'm gonna put away this palette just for now. I will bring it back when I need white. And here we go. We've got the Alvaro Casanet. This is the Fresco. All right. And it's a cool gray. So I'm looking at this car and going, hey, where do I put these cool grays? And the one of the grays I'm seeing can go right on the front of the car there. And one of the other grays is right here. Bum, 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 and it kind of comes on an angle like that. And there's a gray here. There's a gray here, but it also gets a nice black too just here shortly. I can thin that down just a little bit to get this nice little top piece here. Now we need a nice dark, and I'm thinking that Jane's blue orange. I'm gonna use this one, and if you want, just add a little blue to some of your pigments. Did you know that right here? So here is the Jane's black, and it's the blue orange. Right here is the recipe to it. Did you know that? On all these Daniel Smith colors, there is what it tells you. So to make this color, you need this blue, which is PB15-6, and you need this red Rogue, which is PR188. Okay. And then a Pyro Orange, which is a PO71. PO means pigment orange. PR means pigment red. Nerdy. We get nerdy. I'm seeing some laughs going on. And what we got here? People are reporting their trucks rusting. Nice. Now I get it. I understand what you're saying. Well, that's a bummer. Nobody wants a rusty truck, right? So here we go. And this is going to come on this angle. It's going to come here. Yeah, when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, that's kind of trippy. Even my father-in-law, they all went to breakfast and came out, and this guy had one of his cars out. And we have one in the neighborhood someone bought. And yeah. We'll see what happens. Now there is a little rear view mirror right here. Bum, bum, bum. Am I worried about getting this perfect? Not at this point. at this point, I am just getting down some shapes, some lines, okay? You too should just build this painting up. Let's look at another gouache color. So that was the Avaro Castanet Gray we've had so far. We've got the Jane's Gray coming up. So we had the Jane's Black, Blue, Orange. Now let's put down the Jane's Gray. So Jane, she lives in Australia, but every now and then she goes out to England, and she noticed the gray is a lot different in England than it is in Australia. And so she came up with this color. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some water and I'm going to add it to that. Okay. And what I want is to come right about here and just paint the gray for these doors. I'm using a flat brush right now because I need to create these square shapes. Okay, so if you can't draw straight lines, guess what kind of brush you should get? That's right. Bum, bum, bum. Now, I don't claim to be a genius at painting these cars, but I do like painting shapes, okay? And you too can learn to paint just by getting your brush on your surface, okay? So what do I mean by that? I mean, you gotta get your brushes wet. And a good way to do that is to paint. We've got this little thing going right here of this window. And then we kind of see this thing over here. See this deal here? And then there's a seat. Okay. And then there's this thing here and the inside of the car. There's our windshield. Okay. Looks like I need to put that light on. Bum, bum, bum. Let's take some more of that black and work this. And I'm going to trim down this door. There we go. Nice. And bring out this nice dark coming here. I like those directional lines. It's so attractive. Having these things point. Now, there is a blue line. And this is what I love about gouache. I can take this blue and now paint this blue line that goes right here. And it looks nice and blue. Let me turn that light on. Holy mackerel. There we go. Look at that nice blue line. Isn't it lovely? I can put a little bit of white. Okay. Now in our background, there's this little line that needs to go just a little bit thicker. And this could be touched. There's a little white that goes right here that I think it helps build up our story. There's a white right here. There's a little white here. There is this little thing here. And this gets a little gray-ish. It's not quite white. And I can go back and hit this with the black right in there. See this little hiccup? Guess what? We could touch that. And let's go ahead and put this here. Okay. And there's the top of that glass. That's right here. Here we go. And there's a real nice dark here. Do you notice I'm using that same brush the whole time? Here we go. Now there's a separate difference going on there. So I'm going to grab this other gray, the Caliente gray, and make this window now. And I need it even lighter, so add some white. Look at that. Actually goes back a little bit more. Holy mackerel, I got 4 minutes left. We're just having too much fun here. I'm not even paying attention to the time. I need some just interesting gray right there. Some gray down here. When I pull off this tape, that's going to look attractive. This is a little bit of that car detail right in there. A little bit of that gray on that car there. There we go. That's the hood. And what else we got? We've got this here. And here we go. This can be tightened up just a titch. If I tighten this up too much, it's going to pull your attention away from your subject, okay? So be careful. That's a really bad oops, okay? We want to make everything bringing us here to the star of the show. In this case, this front needs to come up. And, you know, that's what makes this car interesting is all those sharp edges. This goes on an angle a little bit more this way and that. Okay. And this kicks out more like that. Boom, boom, boom. It's kind of funny how this is on a little bit of an angle, which I think is making it really fun to paint. And we'll just bump that up right in there. Let's put a person in there. We've got this guy photographing. Where'd he go? We've got this guy taking a picture of it. And you'd think we couldn't put any of that into our painting right now, right? And so he's got this yellow hoodie on. So I'm going to grab this yellow. And I'm looking at where his elbow is in relationship to the truck. Okay. So this guy this is actually his car here. So let's put this dude right about like that. And he's got his arm coming down like this. His shirt's coming down like that, or hoodie. So his waist just a little bit taller. Holy cow. So a little bit taller. And this is what architects do, friends. Architects will put a person into a painting so that you can have kind of an idea of height. Okay. What do I got here? Sally, I'll keep watching longer if you continue, unless your lime popcorn is ready. Oh, lime popcorn. Oh my goodness. I think we might have some lime popcorn. Thanks for the reminder. So his hips are actually up higher, which is perfect in a sense of it works above the car. You know what I'm saying? This leg is going to come down here. This other leg's going to come here. Okay, and guess what? He gets a shadow. There we go. We're going to connect the shadow. Now, he's holding up his phone, maybe right about here. Let's connect the phone to, and I'm actually going to grab some watercolor. Okay. And here's his arm and hand, like that. That looks like a phone to me, someone holding. Now he's got his arm coming in here. And his face, but this is not the right color for the face because he's got the light behind him. Okay. So let's go. This color here is gouache, and it is umber, burnt umber. And we're gonna put this head on him here, like that. There we go. Let's give this arm a little bit of shadow. This elbow, some shadow. Look at that guy just standing there taking a picture of this dude's truck. Dun, dun, dun. All right, and then let's see. With this perla tip, let's put a hat. Now out here, we're Padres fans. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Let's put a little brim on him. That little brim is making a directional point at our truck. Okay? So it's saying, hey, and look at this, the code of the camera or phone taking a picture, right? Now, the sun wasn't uber bright, but if I want to put a little bit of white on his, there is a little bit of light on his hoodie. So let's put a little bit of that light on this shoulder, this arm, this side of his waist, and maybe here, and on his head. Okay, and then a little bit just right here of his leg, of his sweats, and maybe right here on his shoe. And there's one on the back of his shoe in the front. And friends, it's about that time. We've got a wonderful little. Oh wait, you know what? Check this out. I said the whites, didn't I? So this little white here, this white here, I can tighten up now my little lines. This one. See, actually, I need that line to fade back. And then this one to fade back so I could do some dry brushing. Dry brush. Let's put a little bit of white on this because it's kind of worn out. Now, the best part of watercolor and gouache. Hey, we got another comment here. Tim says, his yellow shirt made me like the blue line better. Right on. Well, they are close to being complementaries. But yeah, we've got this little balance, huh? So, always the best part, right? Dun dun dun. And Artie Ross says, time goes by too fast. Oh, I know, right? So true. So, I like to make these little sketchbooks have a little border. I think they look a little attractive, right? And we got to see some new colors today that I typically don't use. Thanks to Daniel Smith for sending the gouaches. Thanks to Escoda. You know, one fun thing that I like to steal from the Urban Sketchers is they do this. They use pens and markers. And where is my lovely marker? Dun, dun, dun. You know what happened? I put my clean pants on. So everything is in my dirty pants. That sounds funny. I'm going to darken this line right here. And I'm going to darken the line coming across. Nice, confident lines. I could feather it in. Now, you could trace it too when you also, before you take the tape off. I could do this. And I could come do some little dots and dashes. And some other little dots and dashes down here. If you haven't been to your local Urban Sketchers group, I highly recommend it. It's a good time. I like the Urban Sketcher peeps. They have regular jobs and then they meet up on weekends and do some really cool drawings. And it's a good way to see what other people are doing. And not all of them have an art degree. So it's not uber, what's the word I'm looking for? Competitive. If anything, it's super informational. Hey, look at there. I found me a ruler. So we can do that too. You like a straighter line. And dun, 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 check that out. So yeah, this is 18 centimeters. 11 centimeters for you US peeps. It's a 7 by 4 1/4. All right. Yeah. Well, there we have it. We have another Watercolor Wednesday. I am liking this other pencil. So this pencil here, you start it by clicking it once, and it's actually out too far. Click it twice, and it pops out more lead as you're writing. They finally have engineered that, and it's by Pentel. And Cheap Joe's sells this. And so it's Pentel, and the name is O R. Don't tell me how to say it. I mean, don't ask me to say it. And Z. So that's and this is a 0.7 lead, and it's by Pentel. I'm liking it. They sent me this. Typically, I use the good old Draftsman's pencil, but this has been pretty nice. So you don't have to, you know how you click these and they end up breaking? Right? It's annoying. It's all get out. It's nice that when you're drawing and writing with it, it just keeps bringing the lead out. And it just keeps going. It's pretty cool. Keeps going. See that? You would have harder had to have clicked by now. And it keeps coming out. Pretty cool, right? So yeah, Pentel finally did it. Pretty cool. And Cindy says, awesome. Thanks for the hints about painting shapes. You are welcome. I agree. Watercolor Wednesday goes fast. I can't wait until next week. Thank you for doing these lives. You are welcome, Sally. And Chuck, great demo. Thanks, Gabriel. I'm learning a lot. I'm so glad you are. Have a wonderful week. And thank you again to Kilimanjaro, Cheap Joe's. Thank you for Pentel and for Escoda and Daniel Smith for the sweet new gouaches that just came out. Have a wonderful week and get out there and paint with not just watercolor, but try these gouaches. And I'm just curious, hit me up on the social medias and let me see what you come up with. And look, you could also, with these gouache, like, this is your sketchbook. You can come in here now and put in some wonderful line work, quality stuff in here. All right. I have really enjoyed my time with you. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care, everyone. See you. Bye.